Good evening to everyone.
Good evening.
Can you all hear us? Can you all respond? That's okay. Well, I guess we're trusting that they are responding. Welcome to our Sunday presentation. We have a little bit of fair weather, as they say it up here in Oakland. We're kind of in and around 68, 70 degrees. So it's pretty cool outside. Not cold because the wind hasn't kicked up, but we're doing well. So here's what we're finding out. First of all, we want you to let you know that we are not doctors, nor are we the children of doctors.
Right?
We've got a couple of friends that might be in this area. We're not sure, but we just invite people to let you know how what has benefited us in our living. And we are so concerned for this season.
Mm-hmm.
We had a request, I mean, 2, 3, 4 months ago from some of our members that maybe we should begin teaching
That's
a
right.
class or some demonstrations on how to be more healthy. And so we're just giving you our version. There's a lot of them out there. We love what all of you are doing to keep yourself healthy, wise, and all that. But you know, your mom, there's a pandemic and we thought it was going down. They let us all outside and we just got crazy, hugging up on one another, waving at one another, going to the beach, getting close, going to the park, demonstrations, protests. We've been around Lake Merritt and all of the party and the celebration, and people are getting sick again.
That's right.
So my thing said when you set up the advertisement, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready.
That's right.
So what we want you to know is that the surge is going up. Even Governor Newsom in our state is trying to determine if he's going to shut it down. He already did it with Imperial County. So our goal today is to kind of let you know some simple meals, simple situations that we want to show you of how to fight in your own way, because you can, use your imagination and go. So we got a very, very simple meal. Because we read that vitamin D helps to fight against the COVID. Vitamin C, the B category, just helping your immune system. And you can get this from various foods, but today we want to show you, just what we have for you. And I don't know if we caught Vanessa, if she was on. Maybe Vanessa will come on later. We wanted her to share some things that she's doing uniquely with her and her own family, but we'll kind of see how that goes.
Right. And even as those of you that have been joining us regularly, part of this is our focus on Black and brown health. So as we've been talking about the COVID-19 in particular, and we're seeing the spikes as you were talking about. Again, it's always Black and brown people that are usually the population of people that are mostly impacted by this virus, which is why, even more importantly, why our focus is particularly on Black and brown health. Obviously, God's laws of nature, followed by anyone, is beneficial to anybody. But there are things that we have discussed that are unique in our neighborhoods, lack of access, or all these different things. And so what we try to provide is education and an easier way to let you know how you can have access to these healthy foods, and how that can help your health.
Yeah. So you can't assume, although that's kind of nice to have that kind of faith, but you can't assume it won't get to you, right? So we have a member, we haven't seen him in a while, but we did see him on the news coming out of the hospital. I forget if it was Channel 2 that kind of caught him coming out of the hospital. We love you, Jorge. He's from Peru. But he called us afterwards, and a couple of weeks ago, he said that thing almost took him out. He got the coronavirus. We don't know where he had a son that just came out of the release program, and he believes they're kind of contact tracing and believe he got that. But how long was he in the hospital?
19 days
19 days.
on a ventilator.
Yeah.
And hopefully maybe, he'll be able to come on, and give his testimony.
Yeah.
Very powerful. He basically saw himself, at the doorsteps of death, and definitely the medical, community did too. So even they acknowledge that, his recovery was a miracle. So this is real.
Yes.
There's a lot of talk out there in terms of, well, there's all sorts of conspiracy theories on this virus. Is it really real? Is it a conspiracy, for the government to be able to control us? You guys have been following on the news, in terms of people who, even here recently in North Hollywood, this lady, who walked into Trader Joe's and just felt that it was, I think she said, finally she said it was because she had respiratory issues as to why she doesn't wear a mask. But we know that there are people out there that, even still with everything, refuse to, wear a mask. And we've heard of, if you haven't, herd mentality. There's just all sorts of things out there. But the reality is whether you feel it's an infringement on your rights, whether you think it's a conspiracy theory or not, the virus does exist and it is out there. And again, it is impacting, communities of color the most. So, they have, there are people who are saying that, the virus has mutated and it's possible that, this, it has mutated here recently and that, it might be less severe. But I'm saying, don't take those chances in thinking, oh, it's less severe, I'm going to be okay. And we were talking, and I was saying, even before COVID-19, if you look at the stats, the flu was killing a lot of people. So even the flu, in terms of what we are used to, people will be like, well, how would the flu kill people? Well, it's still the same principle in terms of, how are you taking care of yourself? What are some underlying conditions? And, can these underlying conditions be reversed?
So check this out now. We got an assignment for you. YouTube, after you finish this, or whenever you want, go on YouTube, Google, 1918 Spanish flu. And there'll be a documentary. It's about, is it 40 something minutes?
39 minutes.
39 minutes. So you want to be able to look at that and see that some of the things you see going on right now, because they closed churches, they closed schools, they did the same thing. There were people who didn't believe it, et cetera, et cetera. A lot of people died. A lot of people died. So whether it's conspiracy or whatever, something's going on, and disproportionately, Black and brown people are getting whipped. So we want to equip you. We got some simple meals, and yes, you can reverse things. You can clear out those lungs. You can prepare your immune system the best way you can. We just love doing it. So make sure that, this is our little bit. All right. So what do you have here? I see looks like some mushrooms.
Right. So we're gonna, switch views in a little bit so that you guys can see what we're seeing. We're seeing wonderful things. You guys are just seeing our faces right now. But yes, we have all sorts of things, and I'm gonna go ahead and take you guys with us. And we are going to switch it around. There we go. So what
yummy.
So part of the things that we are talking about. So sweet potato. All right. Most of us are familiar with sweet potato and various ways on how to cook sweet potatoes. So we're going to be talking about making sweet potato fries. Okay. In a minute, we'll be showing you in the screen just some highlights of why are sweet potatoes so beneficial, particularly in this time, in this crisis that we're in. Um, the other thing that we have is mushrooms. So one of the things that they say that these are, I think these are baby bellas or medium portobello, but these are obviously I've taken the stems off of them because we're gonna get ready and show you how two ways in doing these mushrooms. Mushrooms have vitamin D, so if you look it up, vitamin D is very crucial for our immune system, and there are a lot of animal sources of vitamin D, but we have the mushroom that has it's a plant source, and basically the mushroom creates vitamin D the same way that we do. It when it hits the sunlight, it also creates vitamin D. So that is what we'll do here. And then here we just have the vitamin C from the lemon, and then healthy fats in the avocados. And we have some cherry tomatoes, some cloves, and some flourless bread. Those of you that have been joining us, we've been talking about the benefits of uh, eliminating or reducing flour in your diet. So we're about to put together a scrumptious meal for you guys. And then the other one that I want you to walk us through in terms of the exotic fruit, the
Okay.
dragon fruit.
All right. So should I get the package or is it better looked at?
Yeah,
I
you
don't
can
think you
show
have a
us.
picture on here.
So
I'll say, so we're going to take you all to what they call dragon fruit, and we're going to make a papaya bowl out of that. So you can spoon it up, and it's loaded with a lot of magnesium, a lot of vitamin D, good for fiber, helps out your digestion. And we're going to add some of these ingredients here. So we're going to mix it with some strawberries. We're going to put a little apple juice in it, maybe a little almond milk. That's kind of optional, depending on if you want to have a buttery taste. And this is the package it comes in. So we're gonna put that in the blender along with that banana. And on top, we'll use some granola and blueberries. That's what's in there.
all right. So when we're talking about things that fight, they're antioxidant. All of these things are very beneficial. So just real quickly before we start the demo, we just want to share with you guys on the screen. We decided to pick out two of the ingredients and just kind of share with you guys what are some of the benefits of these two main ingredients. So when we talk about an action plan, right? So what is your action plan, right? We took, they say that, you got to prepare yourself for an emergency, right? Whether it's an earthquake, whether it's a hurricane, some type of major disaster, what is your action plan? They say you should have an emergency kit. You should have some type of plan. How prepared are you in an emergency? And so that is really the question when it comes to your health. What is your action plans? What are some foods that you will try to incorporate in your diet daily? So, so the sweet potato, most people don't realize all of the benefits that sweet potatoes have, right? So what is the sweet potato good for? Well, first of all, it's good at improving your digestion and regularity because it has, lots of fiber in it. Okay. It also says it protects your eye health. Now it's interesting because when you cut up a sweet potato, it kind of looks like a carrot. And we know that the vitamin A in the carrot protects your eye health. Vitamin A is also found in the sweet potato. It boosts your immunity, reduces inflammation, maintains healthful blood pressure.
And it is straight from the motherland. That's what or yams or the sweet potato family, straight from the motherland. And I believe this is my stab at this, that I learned after I stopped running my last marathon that this actually helps to get your energy and your muscles back going again. And I've discovered that the Kenyans, Nigerians, Africans, they will eat this sweet potato before they run. So just keep those things in mind, that it helps to keep that immunity up as well as that muscle strength up, depending on, just kind of watch them and watch what they eat. We may not be doing any athletic activity in COVID-19, but to keep your immune system strong, it'll work well for you.
Definitely. And I like the last point here, improving insulin sensitivity in diabetes. Okay. So most people would think, okay, the name sweet potato, when you eat it, it's sweeter. And usually when people think about diabetes, you want to, stay away from things that are sweet. However, the sweet potato actually improves the sensitivity in your insulin. In other words, if you're diabetic, your body's ability to, be able to detect whether, you're creating too much or you're not using enough, the sweet potato actually helps that. So when we were talking about underlying health conditions during this COVID-19, it is actually possible to eat foods that can help improve even those underlying conditions.
Yes.
And then the next one, which was the dragon fruits, also known as Papaya. All right. And that's the exotic one that you're going to show us how to do a smoothie bowl in that. So it's high in nutrients, helps fight chronic diseases, again, loaded with fiber, again, promotes a healthy gut. So sweet potato helps improve digestion. Dragon fruit promotes a healthy gut. And we've talked about in the past how it's important to have a healthy gut because, and you include the colon, and you've said disease starts in the colon. Right.
Starts and ends in the colon. So if people, they do autopsies, they check on that, they see everything in that gut, they'll know things got blocked. So we want to do that. So remember, it strengthens your immune system, and particularly maybe African-American women or Latino women, low levels of iron, that will help boost that.
That's right.
Get that up.
That's right. And it's interesting because here recently, we had, for a particular reason, we had someone come and do blood work on us and check our blood pressure and all that good stuff. And they ask you all these questions in terms of your health history and and your parents and your family and all that kind of stuff. And I know in my family, besides diabetes being a big thing in my family history, low iron levels have been a thing, and on and off that has been a thing for me. So definitely knowing which foods can help improve that is important. If particularly if you are someone who has dealt with anemia or low iron levels in the past.
Good job. Make sure you get that magnesium. So it's a base that carries a lot of other nutrients, helps the body to assimilate those nutrients. Magnesium is very, very key. Most people that get muscle cramps have potassium, low levels of potassium, and the magnesium is not available to get things into the muscle. So keep that in mind. If anybody's out here, an athlete, just keep that in mind. We need to get that. Even if you're not, you just really need that magnesium to really help the nutrients get going.
That's right. So what we're going to do is we're going to move into our demo portion. And then that's going to leave time. We're going to open it up for any questions, any comments, any testimonies, anything that you might want to share that you've tried. We'll be opening that up as well. So we're going to go ahead and start. And I'm going to give this to you so that we can start with the demo. And there we go.
All right.
All right, so first we're gonna start off with sauteing our mushrooms. So what we're trying to do ultimately is a mushroom burger. So normally what I do is, the skillet is on low heat. And so I put some avocado oil in there. And then like I said, these mushrooms have been washed. And I've already doused them with some avocado oil. So then to go ahead and add the ingredients. So this is cayenne pepper because I like things a little spicy, but cayenne pepper is also a good like broom for your gut. So that's always good. So about half a teaspoon. If you can, if you like it even spicier, then obviously you can add it to taste. This is, you need to come this way, or can you see? Good. So this is the Himalayan pink salt, and about a teaspoon is good. I'll also be adding some sage, about a teaspoon as well. And some basil. So I love me some basil. So this is about a teaspoon as well. And then, oh yeah, I can't forget nutritional yeast. Now, nutritional yeast, those of you who aren't familiar with it, it looks like Parmesan. It gives you like kind of like that cheesy taste, but why is it so nutritional? Well, it's nutritional because the way it is produced, put a little more oil on it. The way that it is produced, it also provides vitamin B12. Yeah, I had to make sure which one it provides, but it provides vitamin B12. So just kind of swirl them around so that they can get the coat of the ingredients that we put in here. And make sure that the pan is well coated. And then go ahead and add the mushrooms on in there. All right. Now, the wonderful thing about mushrooms is that you really don't have to do much to them. They are very water soluble, which means that they have a lot of water in them. So basically all I do is I put them in there. It's still on low heat, and I'm going to put the cover over them so that they can go ahead and marinate in there. And we'll check back on it in about 5 minutes or so to see how they're doing. And we'll go ahead and move into the sweet potatoes. So basically you can peel your sweet potato and then cut them up. Now it's interesting because Anthony was like, oh yeah, you could use those potato slicers, the ones that you see on the infomercials. And I was saying how I think I've just never been able to buy a good one, because I remember buying one and then that ended up being even more work than me being able to dice it up myself. So, you can cut them at whatever pieces you want them. I kind of like to cut them up like steak fries. Those of you that are familiar with steak fries, I I love the thickness of steak fries, and so I don't mind that same type of thickness for sweet potato. All right, so making sure this is cut well, okay. And basically, as you cut them up, as you saw me do the mixture in the bowl with the mushrooms, I use that same bowl and I put my sweet potatoes in there. And go ahead and cut the rest of this. And because I'll be using pretty much the same seasoning for the sweet potato. And so, you know, I'm all about efficiency and how quickly I can cook something and be done in the kitchen. That's me, right? So again, put them all in there. You know, put some oil on them, right? And then pretty much what you saw me do with the mushrooms. So I'm putting a teaspoon of the Himalayan pink salt. I'm doing half a teaspoon of the cayenne. I'm not putting sage on these, but I am going to put basil. And like I said, I like the cheesy taste of nutritional yeast. So, you know, you can put it to your liking. And then, again, you just kind of mix them around. Or if you'd like to dig in there with your hands, I don't have my glove on, so don't want to get my hands dirty. But anyway, and then they pretty much get coated like this. And just put them in a preset your oven to 350 degrees. Line a cookie sheet with wax paper and just lay them out. And what you end up getting, see how they kind of shrink in size a little, but I usually leave them in there until the ends start getting like a little on the dark side. And these are my sweet potato fries in the oven. Now, some people might like to fry them. If you want to, you know, do that as well. If you want, obviously, if you fry them, you might get a crispier texture. So either way, I like baking mine. So this is going to be a good side to the mushroom burger that we are in the process of making. So let's check on the mushrooms, see how they are doing. All right, so they're starting to get pretty juicy. As they get brown, more brown on the bottom, they're starting to release more juice. So probably about 5 more minutes. And I'm gonna up the heat on it a little bit. And we'll move on to, what do you do with all of your mushroom stems, right? So we take off the mushroom stems. And if you look over here, you see a whole bunch of mushroom stems. And so I decided, well, I'm gonna make kind of like a filler for extra mushrooms. And how do you stuff extra mushrooms? So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put all these ingredients here that you see. So I'm going to go ahead and take the mushroom stems and put them in there. All right, cherry tomatoes, putting them in there as well. Okay, and I'm going to take onions. And I'm not going to use the whole half of an onion, but it'll make it quicker if I do it this way. So about a quarter of an onion, right? Put that in there. Then the lemon, let me put this back here so I can make more room. All right, about half a lime will work. All right, and then we're gonna go ahead and add to this some garlic. I'll just put 1 clove in there. And then of course, the avocado. All right, and it's gonna be basically like a guacamole of sorts, okay? And you know, just go ahead and squeeze it on in there. Go ahead and do the other side. Usually looks pretty good. All right. So here we go. All right, and then we'll just add. There we go. And then we'll just add a little bit of water to it. Okay. And then top it off here and then put it in the blender. Now to that, I will add a little bit of the Himalayan pink salt and blend it some more. All right, and then that part is done. Now checking back on our mushrooms. All right, so squeezing some lime on them. All right, and oh yeah, these are totally done. All right, wonderful. So now let's go ahead and put it on low heat, and we're gonna come over here and stuff the mushroom. All right, so if you take a mushroom, this one's already been washed, and of course just take the stem off of it, and then you can go ahead and take the mixture that we just did, and I'm gonna go ahead and spoon some of that in there. All right, and then you know you can sprinkle it more with like I said, I like nutritional yeast, so sprinkle it on top with some nutritional yeast, and there you go. You have an appetizer as well, and that was quick and easy. It's raw. The appetizer is raw all the way around, so you didn't have to cook this mushroom. You didn't have to cook the avocado mixture, and so when we're talking about enzymes that are needed, that is definitely important. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and, since we are done with our mushrooms, I'm going to go ahead and do the burger, right? So I'm going to go ahead and use the same mixture that we just used and spread it on here. Now, if you want to add like, you know, the mayo or the veggies, or maybe you want to, some people like to butter their bread. You can do that as well. So we like to use this particular vegan sliced cheese. It's called Daya cheese, and this one is cheddar style. So go ahead and take a piece of it and put it on the other end. And then we're going to go ahead and...
So is that real cheese?
It's the vegan cheese.
Vegan cheese.
Did I forget to say that? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Sorry. It's vegan cheese. So, I'm going to go ahead and drain a little bit of this. And put it right there. And depending on how many of these you want to put on here, usually 2 will do. You might even be able to get a smaller one on here. All right, and then the last thing I'm going to top it off with is, of course, a probiotic. Now we talked, those of you that have been with us, we've talked about the sauerkraut. So this is raw sauerkraut, dill and garlic. I like dill and garlic. So I'm going to go ahead and put some of this to make this a probiotic burger. Hold on. So here we go. All right, put some of that on there. And like I said, again, I love nutritional yeast. So I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle some of that on there. And then top off the burger. And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. A big, nice, juicy mushroom burger. And with some sweet potato fries to go next to it. All right, now tell me, this is a good way to eat burgers and fries and, you know, not feel guilty about it at all. And it tastes delicious. So whenever you make it yourself, you will have to let us know how did it go. You'd have to let us know that you tried the recipe and that it was yummy.
Awesome.
All right. Any questions? We're going to go ahead and open it up for any questions or comments while we're getting ready for the next demo. You can go ahead and unmute yourself if you have any questions or comments, or you can type it in the chat. Now, as you actually, you know what, we might need to, I see what you're saying. So we were also talking about how okay, hold on.
We hear some. We're trying to let some people in. Sorry.
All right, hold on. This is not reading my There we go. Let's see if that works. There
Oh,
we go.
yeah.
All right. Are you ready for yours or?
Yeah, I was trying to see if somebody had a question, but
All right. If you have a question, you can go ahead and mute yourself, or you can write it down in the chat, and we can go through it at that time. All right. Someone has their hand up. Hold on. All right. Yes, go ahead, Sheila.
Hi. So, two questions. The nutritional yeast, what brand is that? Because I've only find it in a bag. I would rather have it in a bottle.
okay.
Okay, yeah. Bragg's actually,
Okay.
yeah. And if you go to the section in the grocery aisle, usually where they will sell like the seasonings and the salt and stuff, sometimes you can find it there.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and did we get that one at Sprouts?
Sprouts, yeah.
Yeah.
Whole Foods or something, yeah.
Sprouts or Whole Foods should have it like that. Yeah, I am used to the, bulk bag, but you're right. In this, it's way more convenient to have
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So are we ready, sir?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to use the recipe that came on the bag and then some. So this is a Papaya bowl. So we're going to try to make the mixture and try to make it as, how many of you ever had a acai bowl or a Papaya bowl? You buy it, you pay a little good money, and it depends on how you want to make it. That's what I want to show you. So this recipe calls for 4 ounces of apple juice. We always suggest you get the purest of apple juice, that which you cannot see through. We'll show you here in a minute. So you want to get that. You want to get that kind of apple juice. So you can't look through it like.
Can't see.
Oh, sorry. Okay, yes.
Yes.
We're switching sides. I'm sorry, block the camera. That's what it looks like. All right. So you want to get that because it's gonna start selling on the bottom. I'm supposed to pour 4 ounces. You'll see it on the bottom there. To see if I make it to 4 ounces, just let me know. Did I get there?
No. There you go.
See, I poured the right amount. Man, that was good guessing. That's good. Okay, I'm going to, for creamier sake, pour a little. This is almond milk. So if you wanted to add a peanut butter touch, you could put a little almond milk in. I'm not gonna let flood that with that because this is a new way of doing it. So here is the papaya fruit that we showed you.
You want to get the other frozen because that one's liquid. It doesn't matter.
I don't think it might take a lot to.
Go ahead.
The banana will. I see what you're saying. All right, so it's gonna ask for 2 packages of this. Now this is not as frozen, so we hope it's gonna really, so I may have to put an extra banana in to slow it down. All right, so there's 1 banana right there. We're going to do what they call a 1/2 cup of strawberries. That may not be really a 1/2 cup. Okay, and I think I've got it. Can you hold on? Let me get another banana.
Oh yeah.
All right, hold on a minute.
All right, so we have 2 Papaya frozen packs so far, 4 ounces of apple juice and 2 ounces of almond milk and 1 banana and 1/2 cup of strawberries so far.
So because it may not get as thick because we have the package sitting, I'm gonna add a 2nd banana. You wanna tell them what kind of banana this is? It's a nice little.
This is, these are called burro bananas. So those of you that aren't familiar with what burro bananas are, they're not as small as the baby banana. They're a little fatter, but they're not as big as the regular banana. So if you go to the grocery store and you see some short, fat looking bananas, those are the burro bananas.
Okay, so I hope Dr. Willie Davis is not looking right now, but I'm gonna add this little blue or raw blue agave. The actual papaya is that red little fruit or bulb that comes on certain cactus. All right. So I just dropped a little bit of that in. Sorry, Dr. Davis. Just in case you're looking, the idea is to make this really, really mushy, so it may not work because we have that sitting out for a little bit. So we're going to see if I could just stir a little bit. Thicker than that, kind of get that kind of view.
That it's a pretty color.
Yeah, the Papaya makes a pretty color, so it'll come out when you go to the, where they really make it at. They'll pour it in a glass just like this. It's gonna come out like that, and hopefully this will fill up just like they try to get you to see it. All right, so you pour it like that. Then they want you to, we'll add, so we'll put some granola on there. That's what they do. And some blueberries on top of the granola. And bam, you got you a Papaya bowl. All right. So in order for this to thicken, where's my tie? Here we go. We're gonna put this top on it. That may not work. There we go. So that's what we have right there. You got now the Papaya fruit all set in there. Beautiful. If you want to add peanut butter to it, hoping that'll kind of clap down on it. I'm going to put it in the freezer to slow it down a little bit. And then you can just spoon it out at your own pace. But you're going to be full of rich, it's a little bit much. So you're going to be full of rich, you can get that magnesium in there. You're going to get, all of those fresh vitamin C's that plant straight from the cactus. I stayed a couple of months out in Blythe, and they told me about a jumping cactus. I couldn't believe it, but I saw a video on it, and the thing kind of stuck into people's heels. But that's not it. That's the little red fruit, from what I understand. Reading up, you double check me on that.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, I believe we have a picture of it.
Yes.
And so that way
there it is, right there.
They can't see it.
Oh, sorry about that, folks. I thought you could see it as quickly as I could, but
here we go.
All right, can you all see that? So that it was together, and they split it down the middle, and that's what you're getting in all of that good mushy red, as Yamada said, beautiful fruit. That's how it turns out. That's how you make it. First time I'm doing it, I would have put a little bit more either almond butter and it would have thickened it up a little bit more to make it more muddy, or like you buy in the shop. But it'll soften up like that if you leave it out, and it'll become where you can kind of spoon it and drink it almost. Some make it into a smoothie, some make it into a bowl, and others add peanut butter or almond. Depends on the kind of protein you want, but you want it as nice as you can get it, and it's safe.
And it's great for breakfast with the granola in there, or really anytime. But you saw how quickly that was made too. So, it's basically smoothie in a bowl. The question is, where do you buy it ready-made? So where would they go if they want a
Papaya bowl ready-made? Because there's no preservatives in it, you would have to go to a freezer section and see if it's ready-made. I've not seen it that way. It could be.
Or you could go to like Jamba Juice.
Yes, they'll make it for you.
They make those. I think there's another one. I don't know if they have it down here. It's called Vitality Bowls.
So
what's
that,
another
but
place?
it's even then it's not necessarily ready made. They'll make it for you and stir it up. They don't go to the freezer and pull it out unless somebody is doing that. But Google it, look up acai bowls or papaya bowls near me or wherever they sell them, and go to those shops. If you're in LA, I've been to probably 5 different ones, and they all have a different approach to that and how they do that. Yes, we'll get the package. Hold on a minute. So this is what I got. This one I got at Whole Foods today about probably 2 hours ago. And it's called Ready to Make Your Papaya Smoothie. So Papaya, I'm sorry. And you see that? So they already do this, get the plant and freeze it, and it comes out hard like that. So what happens is if you put it in your blender like this, it'll just be bouncing around like ice. So I let it sit out and soften a little bit. And this is where it says dragon fruit. And that's what your mother is holding up the pack. So they put in these little packs. And for the papaya bowl, I had to make 2. Put 2 of these in to the blender. If you're just trying to do a smoothie, 1 pack, 1 banana, and you don't need, as you can see, you don't need a lot of other liquids. You just put 4 ounces of apple juice. I put a little almond milk to make it more creamy, get that creamier taste. You don't have to have that. You can get it straight with all fruits. You want to put some, we suggest that you read the labels on your granola, try to get it as more natural as you can. Some even make their own granola. I don't know how to do that. I've not done it.
Right.
And if you all do it, let us know.
Yeah. And sometimes if you don't have granola, but you have like the rolled oats,
yes.
You can just, grab a handful of rolled oats, sprinkle it on top, put your frozen, fruit. And if you want to drizzle a little honey, or, a little of the agave over it, that can also work as well.
Okay. So those of you in LA, 2 spots. If you go up to, I don't know why I'm forgetting about it, but it's 3rd Street in Fairfax. All right. So you have a Whole Foods, and then across you have like the Grove or that other little outdoor place. It's all the Grove, but where you walk out in between and you can buy pizzas and
the farmers
market. I think that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So you can walk across there and look for where they make acai bowls or papaya bowls, and they'll make them over there, as well as you go into Whole Foods, they'll make it in there. And you have a lot of options you can choose from or what you want in yours. You got to pay a little bit because that's on the movie star side.
Yeah.
That's where the movie stars go. Mm-hmm. Or the entertainers and all that, you may bump into them.
Koreatown also has a few places that make acai bowls. It might be off of Western.
Yeah.
When you go into Koreatown.
I may not be saying it right. Ujima. I don't want to mess up the name.
I'm not even going to attempt it, but there is a spot there in Koreatown, and I believe it's off of Western. I don't remember the cross street. So those are places.
Western and 7th.
Yes, thank you. Yeah.
That's
so
it.
those are places that we've done the papaya bowls, and then those of you that are in the Inland Empire, there is a great place would that be considered Riverside?
Where where the school is? Not UCR, that good ones. I don't think they make it anymore.
No. You used to drive by here on your way back from Hemet, and it's a bit. All they do is these bowls, and they make them in these tall.
It's on Van Buren.
Yeah.
It is Riverside. It's on Van Buren. The name escapes me, but it's going towards what's the school out there? Woodcrest.
Yeah, so it's in the Woodcrest. Yeah, so it's in the Woodcrest area, in Riverside. Yes,
they're really good. You will get full.
Yes.
She's right, and you have tons of choices.
Tons of choices. That's all they do, and they're like this. They're like this big. So if you were to Google, acai bowls in the Riverside area, that's one of the places.
Very popular, and they make it real fast. You go in, you have maybe with the coronavirus, you have to kind of wait outside because it's a very small place. But they do, and they hook you up. I mean, you're going to get a huge one. Like again, you may have to pay a little bit, but it will fill you up.
Yes.
That will be the only meal you'll have
Yes.
for a while.
And again, what's wonderful about those is that nothing has been cooked. It's all completely raw, which means that the raw, the better. You're gonna get the most nutrients. You're gonna get the most enzymes. Um, Basically, these demos were to show you that eating healthy does not necessarily take a lot of effort, and that it can be done quick and easy, and that you can incorporate maybe vegetables that you already using, but these are just newer ways, or maybe vegetables that you've gotten away from, but you can come back to. Very, very easy. For example, the sweet potato fries, some people are like, okay, well, what's the difference, or which one's healthier, which one's better, the sweet potato or the regular, the white potato? And usually the darker the color, it usually means the most nutrients. So, we're here in America, we're used to the yam as the sweet potato, but there are so many different varieties of sweet potato. So when next time you go to the supermarket, there's sweet potato that is a sweet potato, but it's a little lighter than what we call the yam. There's also a purple one, which is in the Pacific Islands, they call it the taro root, but
golden one.
But yeah, there's a the golden one. Asia has a lot of different varieties of sweet potato as well. So you can actually, if you haven't tasted those other varieties and you're just used to the yam, I encourage you to try those other varieties. They're really, really good. They're different in their taste. The golden one has in terms of sweetness, they're different, but they're all really good.
Okay, yes. So before you get to the next question, thank you for letting us know Vermont and 36 by USC. They really do a good job. I thought they weren't open when we would drive by and going to church, Berean. But anyway, down there open, good. I think I know the place. All right, so Vanessa, are you on now? We asked about you earlier. Just kind of let us know. Unmute yourself. Say hello.
Yes, I'm here. Hi.
Listen, folks, I want you to meet Vanessa. She's a mother. I still think she's really young, but she has made some transition. And I want you to hear her transition as she's moving along, making some lifestyle changes slowly but surely. She's got some growing hungry boys, and she's got to convince them that a good, healthy way is the best way. And I believe you're growing something. So take it away. Just kind of share with the people how your life has been different since.
Okay. Well, first off, I was diagnosed with asthma when I was 25, which has been 20 something years ago. And my sons, all four of them, have been diagnosed with asthma as well. But over time, what I've done is try to incorporate more vegetables into the diet. So we're not vegetarian or vegan. However, I do cook a lot of vegetarian foods. So one way to kind of encourage them to eat healthy is a garden. So I'm going to show you, it's not like there are a lot of things planted, but you're not going to see a whole bunch of fruit or vegetables, because what I do is basically I see something growing, I'll yank it out the garden and prepare it right away. So we're getting the nutrients as soon as I pick it. So I'll show you, let's see. So we have tomatoes and Swiss chard. These are broccoli leaves, but no broccoli. I have different types of chilies growing. All that's chili, different types. Apple tree, peach tree, grapes, pomegranate tree, blueberries. I have beets, and the beets, the leaves are edible too. So I have this gooseberry tree. Again, all the berries are gone. But different herbs, there's stevia and basil, green beans, and I am trying my hand for the first time with banana trees and papayas, and that's a lemon tree, that's an orange tree, and that's an avocado tree. Trying it out just to see what happens. Um, then I have my first little okra coming in, yay! And lots of different things out here. Um, my tomatillos, I picked them all and I have to prune this, but they've been growing really well. And I have mint and squash and corn and bell peppers, serrano chilies, onions and lettuce, and more squash, but these, I think they kind of got disease. And right here are cucumber seeds coming in, or cucumber plants coming up, little shoots. So anyhow, all of these things are growing. It takes a lot of patience, but for me, um, since we've incorporated all these vegetables into the diet on a daily basis, my sons do not need their inhalers, neither do I. We haven't used them in a few years, and everyone is healthy. They're all strong. I have no issues with cholesterol, blood pressure, any of those things. Nothing. I always get a clean bill of health, thank God, of course. But I just, want to encourage everyone, if you can plant something as a mom, get them in the garden because they'll be really, more inclined to eat what they grow. And I do this even at the schools with my students. I tell them, grow a garden, or I'll talk to them about it, because I know in the Black and Hispanic communities, we are hit hard with different health issues. And so encouraging, just get some vegetables into your life, eat some fruit, eat more fruit. And as we transition, you know, I put all this stuff into the foods, whether it's beans or whatever, I add something from the garden into it so that we're getting the nutrients and we're getting them fresh, because it's like I pick it and then we get it right away. So it's been really good. It's been good for us.
Awesome. Wow. That Vanessa, now that was more than what I expected. That was, man, you have a whole forest of a garden out there. How long did it take you to get that much of your garden together?
Well, I've been here for 3 years.
Okay.
Some things I brought with me because I've had a garden when I lived in Redlands. I just brought things with me. Some things I actually just purchased as baby plants and transplanted them. But as you can see, everything was pretty much in containers because we're renters.
Yeah.
So I'm taking them with me if we have to leave. I'm not leaving it here.
But that's a great lesson though, because you can literally live in the middle of the city and do what you're doing.
That's right. That's right. I'm utilizing the space that I have, and I'm trying the best I can. It's trial and error for me. Some things I planted eggplant. I have not been successful in the 3 years to get eggplant to grow, but I keep trying.
Yes.
And it's important where you get your seeds from. You don't want genetically modified. You want to make sure that they're non-GMO seeds, and the soil, is different because it's not as rich as, other places. But I'm doing the best that I can.
All right, man.
And would you, whenever you get a chance, would you be okay with putting your email in the chat in case others have questions, more deeper questions about maybe how to get a garden started? What was your process? I know I'll be contacting you. Because, because even what's amazing about what you're doing, and I know Dr. Davis was talking about this last week, is that during this COVID-19 where people have had that time at home, it really has it really has pushed people to think of newer ways of sustainability. And so but sometimes people don't know how to get started, or what is the first step to do. So it's always good to know someone and glean knowledge from that person.
Oh, definitely.
I also want to say you went back to your roots. All right.
That's right.
Got this because your auntie and uncle on the phone on the Zoom. So this is the Panamanian Caribbean flair right here.
That's right.
You can leave the country, but the country can't leave you.
Can't leave you. It's in your soul. It's in the soul.
The other thing I want to emphasize is that in the COVID-19, there's a lot of, because of the processing plants and the people who are getting the food from the farmers, and the farmers are not being able to, they're being challenged to. It is really, really crucial to be able to learn how to grow your own food and grow your own garden. Like what you said, what you prepare, you're able to take from your garden and add it to the food. That's going to get the fiber, the energy, the vitamins, the minerals straight from what you prepared.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to ask somebody else how did they do theirs. So, folks, I want you to know that was a tremendous on-site lesson.
Yes.
That you can do it. How many children you have?
4.
Did y'all hear that? So this mother has 4 children. She still grew the garden. That's why I'm saying it's possible to be able to help your own self out.
All right, and there's some questions. Someone was asking in terms of where did you purchase your planters?
Good question.
And so
Okay, so I have different planters. So for instance, that one, my husband got that one from, I think it was Amazon. I think off Amazon or Walmart, one of the two. But he purchased several different from the same kind from 2 places. And then these containers here, all of those, I went to my local nursery and asked them if they had any free. I asked free first, but they said, well, we sell them, but they're very much discounted. The large ones were $4.99, and the small ones were like $1.50 or $1.99. So I'm like, okay, that's better than $20 or $30 per container. And these, grow bags. Those are grow bags. I got those on Amazon.
Okay.
And they work very well too.
Nice.
Yes.
Okay, we have another question. Go ahead. Looks like, go ahead. Unmute yourself. Okay, wait a minute. Let us do it. There we go. Speak up.
Okay. Brother Anthony, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, hi, Amara. You know who this is, right?
Yes, Dave, how you doing?
Okay, I got to get a little volume now. Okay. I'm kind of new with this, guys, but anyway, how you guys doing? First of all, I'm not going to hog up the time, but how you guys doing?
Doing great, man. Good to see y'all. This is my.
Okay, and one thing I want to do, try to get this thing working again.
Okay, let me tell you who you are. This is my senior softball partner, man. Dave Neal. He plays senior softball in tournaments and leagues all over I can say all over California.
Okay, your mark in regard to your okay, okay, your Maury, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. In regard to your mushroom burger, I'm out here in Pennsylvania now, as you know. I'm out in the rural area. They grow mushrooms, corn, and they grow soybean. So they are very much a plant-based uh city area, rural area. That's where I'm living right now. I mean, you guys know. Hopefully, I'll be back. But in regard to mushroom burgers, I am not a big fan of mushrooms, but I see that you kind of doctored it up with some sauerkraut and some other salts and some other spices and stuff. And my experience with mushrooms is generally kind of mushy, kind of soft, and a little bit, you know, bland to my taste, and never been a fan of it. Just want to ask you, by you doctoring it up in the way you cooked it, does it really make a difference, or do you still get that spongy texture or flavor? Because I try it, but I probably have to let you cook it first.
No, in terms of the texture, because of the water content once it gets cooked, the texture doesn't really change too much. But in terms of the taste, it's kind of like if you've ever had tofu at an Asian place, it because of its spongy texture, it does soak up whatever spices and whatever, however you doctor it up, it will soak it up. So like every bite will have, that whatever seasoning you put to it. And then of course, if you
Right.
accompany it with, like if you use it in a burger, with the sauerkraut and just whatever else you decide to put on it, it also helps enhance that. And if textures are sometimes important for people. Some people really do go by textures. So I would encourage you to, however you season like steak or chicken, whatever your marinades and your seasoning are for that, use it for the mushroom and see how you like it. That would be my suggestion.
Okay, and what type of mushroom again? Because here in Pennsylvania, they grow all kinds of mushrooms,
Right.
and they eat a lot.
Yeah. So this particular mushroom, I believe, was a baby Bella. But really good ones for burgers are the portobello because those are bigger. And so
Okay.
that could be like a whole burger patty. And at that point, I would start off with your baby Bella or your portobello. Those would be easier to season. And then if you like how that tastes, then you can be more courageous to venture off and try mushrooms. It's all about the seasoning at the end of the day. So, I always say use your favorite seasonings and see how you like that. So, yeah. So it's good to see you. Please say hi to Carol.
Oh, I sure will. I sure will. Well, it's kind of late back here, and I don't want to hog up all the time, so I'm gonna yield back to whoever may have a question or want to speak,
Oh, good.
and maybe I'll
Man,
check back in a moment or so.
That was a great question, man. And all I'm saying is go to the farm where they grow it because you'll get a discount. Tell them you're new at this. Tell them you want.
Yeah,
And
I can walk there.
yes, and tell them, make sure that the soybean is not GMO. All right. So you got to find a way to kind of
Right.
ask questions. You want to know that they're not spraying crazy. You want to know that, and you can look up the farms in the area and probably Google which farms are just totally organic and uses none of that. Because what will happen is,
Right.
these things will collect in our joints, cause prostate issues, cause glandular issues. We'll start swelling in our lymph nodes and all of that because we're eating genetically modified food. So just make sure that you,
Right.
you know, look up the information and get it. And then you go to the farm and tell them, look, I'm looking for organic, you know, foods. Do you spray? Do you use any chemicals? And let them, if they start stuttering, that ain't your place. But if they start saying, no, we don't use this, and then you say you want to buy that, it's hard to find organic corn unless you do what Vanessa does and you buy the seed and grow it yourself. And even then, you have to make sure that the seed
Right.
is strictly organic as it can, because corn, they've modified corn forever. So when you look for that,
Right.
and I can vouch because I was like that earlier with mushrooms. But if you doctor this thing up and the texture comes right, and the key is that mushrooms are especially needed for African American men.
Right. Oh,
Especially, you'll find a difference if you have to try them on different ones and get that taste and have Carol
okay.
talk.
Well, the reason I was saying I'm here, I'm in the middle of the corn, I'm in the middle of the mushrooms, and I'm in the middle of the soybean. And that's what they grow here. And it's like, you seen the movie Children of the Corn. Well, that's what it's like I'm walking out of.
They dropped you in a good spot, man. Take advantage. You come back knocking the ball, man, 300 yards.
Hey,
that'll treat
hey,
you.
I get back fast enough.
Anybody else with a question? Anybody else? We just love this. Hey, that was good. So look at Vanessa teaching, doing that good homeschool. We like that. We love that.
Yeah, I'm still trying to learn how to do this thing, so y'all bear with me. But like I said, I yield back to anybody else that's ready.
Got you covered.
All right.
Okay.
And this is why, this is, we call it the vibrant village, but it's a village. And so, we welcome all those that have been doing this for a while and those that are new, because even if those of us that have been doing it for a while, you never stop learning. You never stop learning from other people. That's an ongoing process. And so but if you're new, there is a wealth of information in this village as well. And we're always so thankful for those that are on and, are willing to, share their information. We really got to look out for each other. The village concept, comes back from our ancestry in Africa. They say it takes a village. And it really honestly does. And so, we really thank everyone for coming on, for giving your expertise.
Okay, so now look, we understand what next weekend is, right? But I'm gonna have to give you a quick lesson, because when it's 4th of July, I'm still trying to figure out why a lot of Black people be trying to celebrate this thing. But that's okay. You can have your hot dog, Chevrolet, apple pie, whatever. But just remember, whatever they celebrate in 1776, and you and I's ancestors were still in slavery. So instead of whatever they slapped us and threw us out in the field to eat, we want to make sure that you get a good meal. So we'll show you next week, and we just want everybody to come on and just show us what you do special to try and help yourself on the 4th of July celebration weekend. So hang in there. Make sure you get some of those, like what Vanessa said, get those herbs in them. Even if you eat a little crazy, make sure you put those herbs in there and take care of yourself.
Vanessa, there's a question for you, and
Yes.
that is, what are the easiest veggies to grow?
Squash and zucchini, which is squash.
Yeah.
They're really easy and they tend to grow faster than others.
Yes. And they'll grow all over the place if you don't control them too.
That's right.
Yes, experience that.
But there's a way you can also grow them up so that they don't spread out too.
Good. Okay, that's good. We have to just put you on and show how to move a little dirt and plant the seed and just get a little lesson while we're at it, so people can grow that food well.
Yes. Yes, and anything that you grow in the garden is even better, as Vanessa was saying, and I heard you telling Dave to ask about the soil quality. you know, anything that you can grow, not only will it save you money, because it definitely is budget friendly, but I mean, you know, you grew it, you know where it came from, you know that there weren't any extra pesticides on it, you know what you're getting. And I love what you're doing with your children. And I heard
Yes.
you speak about your students. I know I try to talk to my students, the importance of getting back to knowing where your food source comes from. What does it look like? Where did it start from the beginning? And you know, so especially the younger generation are totally disconnected from their food source and where it came from. As far as they know, it's at the store, and that's
At
all.
the store.
Yeah, that's all I need to know. So, so that's very good.
And here's a way that, as we get into the next one, here's a way to join the protest even broader, right? So we don't like injustice. We don't like what they did with George Floyd and how they're doing a lot of our brothers, black and brown. We don't like that we can't access, they don't treat us fair, the court system, we can't access healthcare systems. On yesterday, my sermon was emphatic about dig your own wells, which means you should not have to depend on somebody else for your sustenance, for your livelihood, we need to start training our youth how to take care of their bodies, how to grow their own food, because what happens is the less we know, the more we become dependent. The number one health issue facing Black women is the healthcare systems. Doctors aren't really treating our sisters well. So you got to have the knowledge, right? You got to have the knowledge about what to do and equip yourself with some of these foods so that when you go to the doctor, you're already ahead of the game. So these are great lessons. And that's how we can join.
That's right.
By broadening the protest by saying, hey, we're not going to eat your food. We're going to do it ourselves. Go ahead, Sheila.
That's right.
Hi, two questions. For the cucumber and zucchini, can you just plant the cucumber itself, or do I have to get seeds? And then my second question is, I planted some organic kale and some collard greens, but they both burnt up in my yard because I don't have any shade in my yard. So I'm trying to figure out how I can do that.
For the cucumbers, if you take the seeds from the cucumbers and dry them out, you can plant them in the soil.
Okay.
So as far as planting a whole cucumber, I've never done that, but like the insides, I'll just throw them in the soil and just like a thin layer of dirt above it, and then soon it'll sprout. I actually grew collards, not from seeds, had little seedlings that I picked up, and they grew really big, really big. But they didn't burn. I'm in West Covina, so I don't know if that has something to do with it or the positioning, but
Tell her where
they
you
didn't burn.
Tell her where you're at though, Sheila.
Oh, I'm in Rio Vista, California. So
Okay.
it's really hot, and
Mhm.
the soil out here is kind of clay.
Yeah.
So I bought other soil to mix it with, but I actually bought the collards and stuck them in the ground. But they burned. But the kale, the same thing with the kale, the sun just killed them. So I was trying to figure out how can I do it where they're not getting burnt up by the sun.
Maybe if you can reposition in your garden so that they get the morning sun mostly, but then the afternoon sun, since it's hotter, have it where it'll still get the heat, but not the sun directly on the leaves. Or if there's another plant that can give it shade, some shade that you can plant it next to, maybe you could try that too.
Okay, so I bought the grow bags. I haven't used them yet because I was going to do potatoes in that. So if I what about putting them in a grow bag and maybe put them on the side where there's a little bit more shade? Do you think they'll thrive?
Yes,
Okay.
they should do well. Everything I've had in the grow bags did well. I have green beans in there even, and every few days I have a harvest of green beans.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so happy. I'm excited. Can't wait to get it
You're
going.
welcome.
Well, go to work with that, man. Go to work. Well, I tell you, when we have to get to the country, I know people's homes I can go to. Be ready, man. I like this, all this growing. That's good. Anybody else with a question? Can speak it? All right. We're back here next Sunday, 6 o'clock. You'll either, when is July 4th? Is that Saturday? When is July 4th, folks? Somebody look it up.
Saturday.
It's Saturday, okay?
Saturday, yeah.
By the time we see you, you'll either be hung over July, you're trying to still digest big, huge steaks, or you know, trying to get through all that good ice cream. But whatever, check in, because we got stuff to clean that up and help you get back on center. If you want just a new special way of handling your July 4th, I would say celebrate it with the collard greens, you know,
Right.
celebrate it with the yams or the sweet potatoes, and hook yourself up with some soul food, because we had it all together, rich with minerals and vitamins, until somebody else came and introduced something else to us. So that's a lesson we'll get on later. Vanessa knows all about that because she's already making the change. She understands what it means to get our people back on track, and that's what we like, and that's what we want to encourage you, that this war you can win. The one on your temple, your body temple, you can win that one, because it's all about what you do and what you control. That's what we want to encourage you.
That's right. And just before we close, just want to remind you that we are constantly putting recipes up on thevibrantvillage.org, and also past recordings of our talks also go on there, and that we will have a health talk on Sunday. We're going to try our best to beforehand put a list of ingredients and recipes that we'll be doing, and you know, we invite you to, if you come on, you can cook with us at the same time. So not only will we be doing our demos, but we'll be putting it up there ahead of time. And you know, whether you want to do the whole thing or there's a particular recipe that you would like to demo along with us, you know, we'll be celebrating I don't want to necessarily say independence for us, because it wasn't necessarily independent for people of color, but definitely we'll be celebrating together the freedom that we have as a village when we share knowledge with each other. So we invite you guys at 6 p.m. on Sunday to cook along with us if you'd like.
Okay, so Michelle, that was a great question. I was going to show you this book, but I saw you made it more clear. So this book is called Fast Food Genocide. I showed this last week. It's about trying to get you to understand that you can be actually being destroyed by the food that you eat. A lot of it is in fast food. So look up this gentleman, Joel Furman. As far as your clarity, Vanessa, the question was a guide to growing your own food.
Yeah, so Vanessa just shared her
great.
email. So make sure that you guys get Vanessa, put it in the chat. I'll go ahead and for those of you that are watching us right now live on YouTube, the email is homeschoolproject333. Again, homeschoolproject333@gmail.com. Any of you that might have questions, those of you that are
this in terms of a policy,
you have a question,
basically anything goes, Wild West type of approach.
and you have any questions in terms of growing, we are not the people to ask. You want to email
the experts.
Vanessa, who's had experience in this, and she will be more than happy to answer any questions that you might have.
All right, so invite somebody next week, man. We're saving our people menu by menu, ingredient by ingredient.
Yes, one ingredient at a time.
So we love you all. Have a great day, and let's keep this village growing and inspiring one another how to make it through this, not only pandemic, but for whatever is the future, whatever lies ahead.
That's right. Bye, guys.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Blessings.
Excellent presentation.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, take care, everybody.
Bye.